Hello everyone. So today we're going to Holgafy or simulate a Holga effect on an image here real quick. So I have my raw image. I've done an auto to make some minor corrections here. We're going to go ahead and click open, which will move this into Photoshop. And we're going to essentially start with a filter. And we're going to do a blur. And we'll do a Gaussian blur. And essentially we're doing this to make the image look more like it was taken with a plastic lens. And you can play with these settings. In this case, I'm going to do two radius of 2 pixels. We'll say OK. And it just slightly makes it not so sharp. Okay, so now we're going to go in and we're going to use a filter. And we're going to go to Camera Raw Filter. And we're going to go to Effects. Now, it was open because I typically already had it open, so we'll go into Effects. We're going to go and add a vignette. And we're going to push that up to 50-ish. See how that looks. That's a little strong, so we'll back that down to, we'll say 40. I guess we'll go ahead and try 35, 36 here. That looks better. Okay, we're going to set our midpoint up to 70. And like I said, you can play with these settings on your own. And then we're going to do a feather of 60. Okay. All right, so now we're getting a little vignette around the image. I'm going to actually increase that a little bit more. I want more. The Holga generally has a significant amount of vignetting, so we'll bump that up to 45. Okay, and we'll say okay. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is we want to desaturate the image slightly and also reduce the dynamic range of the image. So we'll go into it, image, adjustments, go to levels. Yeah, we're not going to do anything in levels, sorry. We'll go into image, adjustment, curves. All right, so what we want to do here is we want to drag down the highlights and drag up the blacks. Okay, and what that does is it reduces the dynamic range in the image and creating more of a film-like situation. And then a lot of the films that were used in Holgas were sometimes had odd color casts. So we're going to go to Hue and Saturation. Okay. And we're going to push. We'll go to our yellows here. And we'll bring this down a little bit. And we'll go to blues. We'll add a little bit of blue. And we'll go into the green. And we'll add a little bit of green. And we'll say okay. So yeah, now we've got a little bit of unique color cast. All right. And then if we really want to, the last thing we'll do is create a new layer. And our layer type, let's see. Let's see. Color nudge, light color. We're going to do an overlay layer. And we're going to say okay. All right. And what we want to do here, we want to swap we'll say okay. Okay, we have our layer. And what we're going to do now is we're going to paint in some light leaks. And we want our brush to be kind of large. I think we're going to push this up to, yeah, it's a 44 megapixel image. So yeah, we're going to want our light leak to be a little larger here. And we're just going to kind of paint in some odd around the edges. Okay. And we'll make that one a little more invasive here. And we'll do this along the bottom. Okay, and then last but not least, we want to change the opacity to soften those light leaks we just put in. So let's try 28% here. See what that looks like. Okay, maybe we'll pull that up a little bit more. We'll try 40%. 41% is fine. Yeah, see, that looks better. Now that actually looks a bit more, well, maybe a little too much. All right, we'll pull that back down some. We'll try 35. Okay. And let's make that corner a little more. And paint some light in here. A little bit of light in here. Okay. And you now have a Holga image. So you can play with these settings, do what you want, but in essence, this is how you would do it manually. And there's more than one way of doing this. We can, of course, increase the vignette some more. You know, there's all kinds of things you can do. The key here is to make it not a perfect digital image. and add some character and flaws to this. Now, if you want to do this on a regular basis, I would do this slightly different than what I just did. What I would do is create an image that matches the resolution of the images output by your camera. I create a blank canvas, paint in all the effects that, like I just did, but on that raw white image, and then save that and use that as a default, so you're always applying the same thing. The other thing you can do is you can record your session, save it as an action, and replay that action on all the pictures you want to provide a Holga effect. And that's it. That's how you more or less replicate a Holga image. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please press the like and subscribe buttons, and have a great week.